At 70, life reveals a profound paradox. While the world around us may grow noisier, our hearts yearn for stillness. I've realized that gatherings, with their chatter and chaos, often pull me away from the calm I've worked so hard to cultivate. This isn't about disliking people or socializing. It's about embracing a deeper calling. Aging is not merely the passage of time, but a journey inward. It's a process of stripping away distractions, letting go of roles we once played, and uncovering who we truly are. Solitude has become my teacher, showing me the quiet power of independence. By the end of this story, I'll share a profound insight I've discovered, one that transformed how I see myself and the connections I choose to nurture. Stay with me, and you may find that this wisdom resonates with your own path. The nature of connection evolves. In our younger years, social gatherings feel essential. They validate us, inspire us, and give us a sense of belonging. But as we age, the type of connection we seek changes. It's no longer about quantity but quality. Conversations filled with superficial pleasantries begin to drain rather than energize. In Buddhism, human life is often compared to the phases of the moon, constantly shifting and transforming. In youth, the full moon symbolizes an outward radiance, a desire to connect, to shine in the company of others. Yet as we age, the crescent moon, subtle and serene, reflects our growing inclination towards the inner world. This is not a rejection of light, but a redirection, one that allows us to illuminate the truths within ourselves. The Buddha taught that craving and attachment are the roots of suffering. In the context of social connections, this craving might manifest as an incessant need for approval, a desire to fit in, or a fear of being alone. As we grow older, these attachments often lose their grip. Aging, with its gentle reminders of impermanence, teaches us to let go. The validation we once sought from others begins to feel less significant compared to the peace we find within. Cherishing silence does not mean disconnecting from the world. It means connecting to it more deeply. In the quiet, we can hear the whisper of our own hearts, something often drowned out by the clamor of social interaction. Buddhist meditation practices, such as mindfulness and vipassana, emphasize this very principle: to observe, to listen, and to understand the nature of existence. Aging naturally aligns us with these practices, drawing us away from the superficial and guiding us toward the profound. Consider the metaphor of a lotus flower. In its early stages, it remains submerged in the muddy waters of life, seeking nourishment and growth. But as it matures, it rises above the surface, blooming in pristine beauty. Similarly, our youthful interactions, while necessary and enriching, are like the nourishing mud. They help us grow, but there comes a time to rise above, to transcend the surface distractions, and to blossom in the serenity of independence. Social gatherings often revolve around shared narratives, exchanging stories of achievements, struggles, or aspirations. While these narratives are meaningful, they can tether us to the ego, the part of us that identifies with external roles and identities. Buddhist teachings encourage us to see beyond the ego, to recognize the impermanence of these identities. Aging provides a natural gateway to this understanding. Conversations that once felt affirming may now feel limiting, as they anchor us to roles we're ready to outgrow. Furthermore, the energy we have for social interactions diminishes with time. This isn't a deficiency, but an invitation to conserve our vitality for pursuits that nourish the soul. The Buddha's concept of right effort underscores this, directing our energy toward wholesome and liberating endeavors. For many elders, this means less time at bustling gatherings and more time in quiet reflection, creative expression, or communion with nature. This shift is not without challenges. Society often equates solitude with loneliness, creating a stigma around stepping back. Yet in Buddhist thought, solitude is celebrated as a path to clarity and wisdom. The Buddha himself sought solitude under the Bodhi tree, where he attained enlightenment. Aging grants us a similar opportunity to retreat into our own inner sanctuaries, free from societal expectations. In embracing this transformation, we also redefine the way we connect with others. Relationships become less about surface interactions and more about profound understanding. A single, heartfelt conversation can hold more meaning than a dozen casual encounters. This mirrors the Buddhist principle of noble friendship, relationships that inspire growth and understanding rather than mere companionship. Ultimately, the evolution of connection as we age is not a loss but a refinement. It's a journey from the external to the internal, from the many to the few, from noise to silence. It's a shift that aligns with the Buddhist path, guiding us toward liberation, wisdom, and peace. Solitude as a sacred space. There's a saying, in solitude, we meet ourselves. As the years pass, solitude becomes less of an emptiness and more of a fullness. It's a sacred space where we reflect on the past, appreciate the present, and prepare for what lies ahead. In Buddhist teachings, solitude is not merely the absence of others, but the presence of self-awareness. It is in solitude that the mind has the freedom to untangle the knots of past experiences. Through mindfulness meditation, one learns to observe thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing the heart to find peace amid the storms of memory. The Buddha often retreated into the wilderness, finding clarity and strength in the simplicity of nature. This act of seeking solitude was not an escape, but a deliberate practice of grounding oneself in the present. Aging, with its natural slowing down of life's pace, mirrors this practice. The hustle of earlier years fades, replaced by moments of quiet contemplation. These moments are precious. They allow us to rediscover the essence of who we are beyond societal roles and expectations. Solitude also fosters gratitude. In the stillness, we can appreciate the small joys that often go unnoticed in the chaos of daily life. The sound of birdsong, the warmth of sunlight, the taste of a simple meal. This mindful appreciation aligns with the Buddhist concept of santuti, or contentment. Aging gives us the perspective to see beauty and simplicity, transforming solitude into a sacred celebration of life's fleeting yet profound moments. Moreover, solitude provides a space for healing. The emotional wounds accumulated over a lifetime, loss, disappointment, regret, can begin to mend in the gentle embrace of quietude. Buddhist compassion practices, such as metta, loving-kindness meditation, encourage us to extend forgiveness and kindness to ourselves. In solitude, we can practice this self-compassion, releasing the burdens of the past and embracing the present with an open heart. Aging also brings us closer to the ultimate truth of impermanence. In solitude, we can reflect on this reality, not with fear, but with acceptance. Each moment of quiet becomes an opportunity to let go of attachments and to live fully in the now. This practice of living mindfully is a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy and a key to finding peace in aging. In solitude, we prepare for what lies ahead. The inevitability of life's end becomes less daunting when we have cultivated a deep understanding of ourselves. The Buddha taught that death is not an end but a transition, a continuation of the cycle of existence. Solitude allows us to face this truth with equanimity, knowing that we have lived authentically and meaningfully. Solitude is not loneliness. It is a sacred space where we can connect with the deeper currents of existence. Aging gently leads us to this space, where we can reflect, heal, and prepare for the journey ahead. It is here, in the quietude of solitude, that we find the fullness of life and the wisdom of peace. Letting go of expectations. Social gatherings often come with unspoken expectations, to look a certain way, speak a certain way, or contribute in a certain manner. These expectations, subtle as they may be, can feel burdensome with age. Buddhism teaches us that these expectations are a form of attachment, a clinging to the illusion of how things should be. This clinging creates suffering, a fundamental truth in the Buddha's teachings. By stepping back from social gatherings, we begin to see these unspoken rules for what they are. Constructs of the mind, shaped by societal conditioning and the ego's desire for approval. Letting go does not mean rejecting others, but releasing the need to conform. It is an act of liberation, freeing us to be authentic and present. In Buddhist practice, this release is called upadana, the relinquishment of clinging. Through mindfulness, we observe the expectations imposed by others or ourselves and learn to let them dissolve like mist in the morning sun. This process requires courage and self-compassion. Aging naturally strengthens these qualities. When we stop trying to meet the expectations of others, we create space to honor our own needs and rhythms. In doing so, we align with the Buddhist path of samma sankappa, right intention, living in accordance with our values rather than external demands. Consider the story of a monk who, upon reaching enlightenment, returned to his village only to be met with criticism for abandoning his family. The monk listened with calm and compassion, for he understood that their expectations were born of their own attachments. In choosing his path, he had also chosen to let go of needing their understanding. His serenity was a testament to the freedom found in authenticity. In our later years, we too can embody this serenity. As we let go of the need to look, speak, or act in certain ways, we reclaim our energy and direct it toward what truly nourishes us. This may mean finding joy in solitude, embracing simplicity, or deepening our spiritual practice. By letting go of expectations, we step into a space of profound self-acceptance. Moreover, this act of release has a ripple effect. When we free ourselves from expectations, we often inspire others to do the same. Our authenticity becomes a quiet invitation for others to embrace their own truth. In this way, letting go is not just a personal act, but a gift to those around us. As we age, the Buddhist teaching of anicca reminds us that all things, including expectations, are impermanent. This awareness allows us to face each moment with openness, unburdened by the weight of societal demands. In letting go, we discover the profound peace that comes from simply being. Independence as a form of liberation. Independence in later life doesn't mean isolation, it means liberation. It's the freedom to choose how to spend our time, the courage to say no, and the wisdom to prioritize what truly matters. This shift often leads to deeper, more meaningful connections. Not with many, but with a chosen few. Buddhism teaches us that liberation comes from detachment, not from rejection. As we age, we learn to detach from the need to please others or adhere to societal expectations, allowing us to act authentically and in harmony with our inner truth. This independence is a profound expression of spiritual growth, as we are no longer bound by the illusions of the external world. For many, rediscovering old hobbies or exploring new passions becomes a way to connect with their authentic selves. Buddhism encourages this form of self-exploration as a path to self-realization. Whether it's gardening, painting, reading, or simply walking in nature, these activities become meditative practices that align us with the present moment. Nature in particular holds a special place in fostering independence. The Buddha often meditated in forests surrounded by the natural world. Here, he discovered the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things. In later life, spending time in nature can be a similar refuge, reminding us of life's simplicity and beauty. It allows us to feel liberated from the noise of society, reconnecting us to the rhythm of the earth and our inner selves. The courage to say no is another hallmark of this independence. In Buddhism, this act is rooted in the practice of right speech and right action. Saying no becomes an act of self-respect and mindfulness, honoring our own boundaries and priorities. It empowers us to choose paths that nourish the soul rather than drain it. Independence also fosters deeper relationships. When we are free from the distractions of superficial connections, we can invest in bonds that truly matter. This mirrors the Buddhist principle of kalyanamitta, spiritual friendship, where relationships are based on mutual growth, understanding, and compassion. These connections are not numerous, but they are profound, offering solace and strength. Moreover, independence allows us to live in alignment with our values. Aging often brings clarity about what truly matters, enabling us to prioritize these aspects without compromise. This clarity is a form of wisdom celebrated in Buddhism, where the liberation of the mind leads to a life of authenticity and peace. Ultimately, independence in later life is not just a personal triumph, but a spiritual awakening. It reflects the Buddhist path of liberation, where freedom is not about escape, but about embracing life fully and authentically. It is a reminder that even as we age, we continue to grow, evolve, and find deeper meaning in our existence. Aging as a return to the self. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting golden hues across my garden, I feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Aging is not about fading into the background, it's about returning to the essence of who we are. It's a pilgrimage inward, a shedding of roles and expectations that no longer serve us. The rustle of leaves, the whisper of the wind, the stillness of the moment, these are the treasures of a life lived fully, without distraction. If you ever feel conflicted about choosing solitude or setting boundaries, remember this: true connection begins within. By nurturing your inner world, you illuminate the path for authentic relationships with others and the universe. Aging doesn't diminish us, it refines us. It distills the noise of life into a melody of wisdom and peace. Embrace this journey, for it leads to the most profound connection of all, the connection with your true self.